Today's deck testing video is coming to you a little bit later in the day than normal, but that's because I was casting the Team Rankstar Classic today. That's why I'm still in a blazer as we go through this, but I wanted to showcase a deck that I've been playing a little bit on stream, and this is a Burn Assassin list. This is one that tries to deal as much direct damage to your opponent as possible and or utilize very early aggressive creatures. So this is the list. There are some questionable includes, some choices that I'm not necessarily 100% sold on quite yet, but it has been working. So the things I kind of want to highlight are Ravaging Elixir. This is one of those flex cards. I'm not convinced it ends up making the final cut, but I've been trying it as an Empower enabler. It's a great way to get direct damage that bypasses guards and also make Spoils of War cost less because this card is an absolute beast in this deck. Cards that are likely going to stick around and that are amazing are also things like Altmer Flameslinger, because honestly it's just a great Empower trigger, along with Bandari Opportunist, but also the Flameslinger is just a nice resilient early ward creature. It's great with Satanine Courier, so on and so forth. But this is it. Again, there's going to be a deck code in the video description like always if you want to give this a try or give something similar a try. But like I always do for these, we're going to go ahead and hop over and play 2 games, win or lose, and see how it goes. So hopefully it goes well, because it's been doing well for me. Now, I will say I've ran into a couple of hard counters. Specifically, the Dominion, the Aldmeri Dominion decks that run a large number of drain creatures, they can be particularly troublesome because they have so many ways to gain health. Ironically, you would think Tribunal would be a difficult matchup, but because of all of your direct damage, it's actually not been that bad. When I very first built this deck on stream, my first 3 opponents ever with the deck were all Tribunal, and we went 3-0. So, unless Tribunal gets either like an early Golden Initiate Prophecy, or they find their burst healing, you usually have enough damage where you can kind of punch through it. It's very similar to like Time to Fight in that regard. But, as I said, the more mid-rangey, drain-centric Aldmeri Dominion lists have proved a bit problematic. So, it is worth noting that we're going to start with the Trader over the Wardcrafter because it hits harder, in all honesty, and we can use Wardcrafter to hopefully protect it if necessary. Seeing the Scouts report tells me that this is going to be the ramp version of Ebonheart. The crossbow also, big signal there. Now, normally I'd like to develop this just because it hits harder, but you have to assume that they're going to have at least some sort of 1 damage ping in their lineup, so this actually might be a good time for Wardcrafter. We're going to swing either way. However, if we save Wardcrafter, we can saturate with double 2-drops next turn. So, bit of a tough call, I think. Sadly, Wardcrafter, as much as I'm a big fan of saturation, I think Wardcrafter is still probably correct here. Because now they'll have to use the ping to get rid of the ward. There it is. And now we have to hope they don't have a second ping. Now with the ring, they very well could have a crossbow or something, but did not this time around. So we're going to go ahead and take our attacks now.
Your blood will spill.
And let's go ahead and use Camelorn Hero. Archer's Gambit is obviously a problem here for a number of reasons, and you have to expect them to have it. But just because you expect it does not mean that you don't take the plays that you need to take, and that was certainly, in my opinion, still the correct path. They're going to go with a contract into a contract into a 5/7 Histmage. So that tells me that that is what they shuffled in with Galen, and they went and drawn another one. Not a good place to be for us. Let's actually go ahead and use the Ice Spike first, since we're going to use one either way. And we'll play the Kinsman over here. We want to attack because we don't want to give them the trade. If this does attack, we would like it to give us a rune. But that was an absolutely massive wall put in front of us, sadly.
My vengeance.
We wanted to get rid of that guard because we want to free up
Feel the power
cliff
within
racers. Because we know, again, they had to have another one in hand, so we know that's where our cliff racer is going to go. So we're just going to go ahead and do that now. And we're going to go ahead and use our elixir. Take the ping. Because again, we kind of want more ways to make Spoils of War trigger, though at this point, by the time we would play this,
You have problems? We are going to solve.
it's going to be likely where we would be pushing for lethal.
By the power of the hiss.
Bit of a dilemma here. If this goes face, we are 1 damage off of lethal. But then we could turn around and lose ourselves. I think this goes face. Because if they end up putting a guard here and we can't go the lethal route, we can always just use our cliff racer to trade here if necessary.
That's the key.
Let's go ahead and take our draw, see what we end up with here. We might just take the cliff racer trade anyway, now that we have these elixirs. Get that down there. So we are still 1 off of lethal, unless we could use an elixir. Gets them down to 4. This gets them down to 2. And then maybe spoils into something. It's kind of a tough call here. I think we just take the cliff racer to be conservative. I know it's the boring play. But right now we're saying that they have to try to gain health with a kind of suboptimal board. We don't want to leave that because if they have something like Snake Tooth Necklace, they could slap that on and squish the Wimpy. We just really want to make it so that they don't have a good way to gain health. And as long as we do that, like we just did, then we're going to be likely just fine. So we can go ping, ping. Catch him with that. Hope that we draw into something, and we did draw into a couple of Khajiit. So we found the lethal there. You know, again, we could have got them pretty close, but I didn't want to leave that 9 attack creature on the board because we wanted to make all of their healing options as, you know, not as effective as they could be. So that's game 1. We're going to go ahead and jump into another game like we do. See if we can recreate the magic again. As I said before, the big nemesis for this list is burst healing. So a lot of drain can be a problem. Decks with like Ebonheart Oracle can be a problem. Oh, Americon. Alright. So, for those of you who don't know, Americon is well known for being one of the original developers of Legends, also makes other games, hangs out in my stream a lot. I like Paul a lot, very fantastic guy, so. He's also known for playing interesting lists. So I assume we're going to be
You can trust me.
running into something flashy here, which does not bode well for me.
Watch yourself now.
Goes with the Word Crafter, likely trying to set up some trades here.
Didn't see this
I'm gonna
coming,
go ahead
eh?
and get this in, and developing this makes sense, but then we are only also developing that. Let's go Camlorn Hero instead, because Magicka Saturation is important. We want to save our black hand to get rid of this guard that will pop up. We want to try to keep the lanes clear. So, Americon
I will have your head.
drops a guard. Interesting. Does not clear that out. So, we are going to go ahead and clear this in all likelihood. But first we will take this path. Well, that is unfortunate. I am punished for order, so I should have attacked here first because now he'll get this 3 health opportunity to punish me. We are gonna try to clear this up a little bit. It really makes me sad that I'm not shuffling this in, but I think it's correct. But this is a problem. As I said, we want to prevent them from healing, and we turn around and give them the ability to heal. That is a feels bad moment.
Come and have a taste, fetch. I keep a spare blade.
So we're gonna go ahead and play this. Give our little messenger here a dagger. Poke, poke. Play another elixir just to get another poke in. And now we wait. Ideally, we'd like to find spoils of war or something like that, but oh, the Shadowfen coming down, shutting us out, and this is gonna be game. Largely because of my misplay, but also because we didn't find our spoils of war.
I
Yeah.
smell the stench.
Not
of
an
the
ideal
living.
setup for us. That is going to hurt us as well, because Drain is not our friend. So, sadly, that's a requirement. Just gonna get value traded out,
I'll
but
try to draw their fire.
that's what we have to do.
You cannot hide.
By the 8th, they will meet their makers.
And we're gonna go ahead and play the Kinsman over here,
Me.
and then again wait. So this is worth a decent amount of burst damage right now. Naturally, they always have the negation, so you can't get the value.
Vengeance.
Watch yourself now.
Go ahead and do this, because again, we want to get rid of this anyway, but we kind of need to open up something for ourselves.
You must be cleansed.
But this is essentially worth 8 damage. And rough! They found another Shadowfen Priest and another Barrow Stalker, so not a lot
Of course I'm on your side.
going our way. Now the good news is for them to get this drain, they have to break a rune. The bad news is they've got a huge
Long
board
place for a midnight stroll.
Beware.
that we just don't have an answer for. And that Laneth is going to seal it. Oh, Maricon. Of course you find ways to embarrass me. Well, that did not help either. We were really hoping for a, in all honesty, like a Spoils of War top deck. Opportunist plus the dagger is still not enough to trade into this, sadly. So, we are just gonna
This might be handy.
take these. I think save the dagger. I probably should have used the dagger here just for 1 extra damage, but this one, let's be honest, this one is over. We're gonna play it out,
Like the dragonflies.
but this one is definitely over with the addition of Varen
The tribunal will always
and
come
Archcannon.
to the people's aid. Behold, the
Going to be
tribunal's
gaining at least 7-9 extra health here, and if we break runes, they gain health. So, all right. I did say at the start of this, the weakness is burst healing. So this is, you know, in many ways, kind of showcase this. How do we want to pilot this? By conceding? Conceding is technically the right answer, but again, we'll kind of play it through just a little.
Don't underestimate.
If your opponent can get a hold of a lot of
Wrong
drain,
place for a midnight
you're gonna have a bad
stroll.
time. There's not much you can do about it with this list. It is the one fragile portion. Outside of that, you have an awful lot of burst potential in this list. Maricon with the BM, bad-mannered Dawn's Wrath there at the end. Thank you, Maricon. Thank you so much. I love you. But yeah, anyway, that's the deck testing. This is actually probably really the best potential thing that could happen, even though it feels bad to lose, just because it does showcase both the good and the bad of the deck. The good has an awful lot of reach. You can close out games pretty quickly, and even if you get to a point where you're top decking, you can usually find extra sources of damage. There's a lot of ways to go around guards, get that damage in. On the other side of the coin, however, if your opponent heals a ton, you're gonna have a bad time. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I love you all, and until next time, may you walk on warm sands.